Something serious just landed on Keir Starmer's desk. Not from Brussels, not from Washington. This time the warning comes from Tehran. A senior Iranian official has issued a public threat aimed squarely at Britain and its allies, and it comes with a chilling phrase: irreversible consequences. So what triggered this, and why is Britain suddenly being dragged into one of the most dangerous diplomatic standoffs of the year? Let's break it down, but first, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Tensions between Iran and the West are escalating, and now Britain is directly in the firing line. Iran's foreign minister has issued a clear and public warning to the UK, France and Germany, stating that any attempt to reimpose UN sanctions could trigger irreversible consequences. This isn't diplomatic theatre, it's a calculated threat, and one that demands a serious response from Prime Minister Keir Starmer. The warning comes from Abbas Araghchi, Iran's former deputy foreign minister and nuclear negotiator, in an op-ed published by French magazine Le Point. In it, Araghchi warns that if Britain, France, or Germany choose to activate the so-called snapback mechanism under the 2015 nuclear deal, it would not only mark the end of Europe's role in the agreement, but could trigger an escalation in tensions. The snapback clause, enshrined in UN Resolution 2231, allows for the reimposition of UN sanctions if Iran is found to be in serious non-compliance with the nuclear deal, known formally as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, or JCPOA. According to diplomats, this mechanism must be triggered before October 18th, but there is already talk of action being taken as soon as August if no progress is made. Britain, along with France and Germany, is not currently involved in the direct negotiations between the US and Iran, but it remains a key part of the JCPOA framework. The E3 nations have been closely coordinating with Washington, particularly as concerns mount over Iran's growing stockpile of enriched uranium. According to reports from the UN nuclear watchdog, Iran has significantly accelerated its uranium enrichment since 2019, reaching levels as high as 60%, a figure that edges closer to the 90% enrichment level required for weapons-grade material. Tehran insists its nuclear program is peaceful, but these developments have raised alarm among Western powers. Starmer's government has not publicly commented on the snapback warning yet, but the UK's position has aligned with France and Germany in calling for greater Iranian compliance and maintaining pressure through diplomatic means. This diplomatic standoff comes against a broader backdrop of worsening relations between Iran and the West. Beyond the nuclear issue, Britain and its allies have imposed fresh sanctions on Tehran over its ballistic missile program and its support for Russia in the war against Ukraine. The detention of dual nationals by Iranian authorities has further inflamed tensions. Multiple European governments have accused Tehran of using foreign citizens as political leverage, what some describe as hostage diplomacy. In this context, Araghchi's message reads not just as a legal objection, but as part of a wider effort by Iran to push back against Western pressure. His statement that Europe risks irreversible escalation if it triggers the snapback mechanism is a deliberate warning aimed at deterring action and testing the political will of leaders like Keir Starmer. US President Donald Trump, who withdrew from the JCPOA during his first term, also weighed in this week. Speaking to reporters, Trump stated that Iran was talking intelligently, but reiterated his long-held position. We want Iran to be wealthy and wonderful and happy and great, but they can't have a nuclear weapon. It's very simple. While the UK isn't leading negotiations, it is being watched closely. If Iran continues to defy the nuclear restrictions and no agreement is reached, Britain, France, and Germany may face mounting pressure to act, even if that means triggering the very mechanism Iran is now warning them against. The message from Iran is unambiguous, the threat is calculated, and the test is now on Britain's shoulders. Will Starmer stand firm with Britain's allies and uphold the legal framework of the nuclear deal? Or will he hesitate in the face of Tehran's pressure? The next few months will reveal more than just policy choices. They will show us how the UK intends to confront threats in a rapidly changing world. Let us know your thoughts below. Should Britain stand by its commitment to hold Iran accountable? Or is this situation too dangerous to risk escalation? In other news, a bombshell new poll projects Reform UK would be the second most popular party in London, leapfrogging the Conservatives in the capital. The poll by Find Out Now has Reform jumping to 19%, overtaking the Conservatives on 17%, down 3 percentage points since the general election. While Sir Keir Starmer's Labour Party still maintains a healthy lead in the polls, backing for the party has fallen 13 percentage points since last year's mayoral election, which saw Sadiq Khan beat Conservative candidate Susan Hall to 30%. Now, according to number crunching from Electoral Calculus, Labour would lose 12 seats across the capital should the polling prove accurate. This would hand Reform 15 seats. This would be an enormous leap from last year's general election, where Reform finished second in the Dagenham and Rainham seat, won by Labour's Margaret Mullane, and Hornchurch and Upminster, won by the Conservatives' Julia Lopez. Around 25% of Reform's backers in the capital voted Conservative at the general election, compared to 5% who supported Labour last July. Meanwhile, 12% of Green supporters in London voted Labour at the general election, as did 9% of Liberal Democrat backers. The calculation took into account where Labour had the slimmest majority or where they lost seats, and proposed they would swing to Reform. This includes Ilford North, where Health Secretary Wes Streeting only barely held onto his seat against pro-Gaza independent candidate Leanne Mohammed by just 528 votes. It also suggests places where Labour lost at the election last year would swing to Farage's party, including Islington North, the seat of former leader turned independent candidate Jeremy Corbyn, who beat Labour's Praful Nagand by 7,247 votes. The figures are also bad news for the Tories, as one of those losing their seat would be former leader Ian Duncan Smith, who would lose his Chingford and Woodford Green, which he has held since 1992. Reacting to the Find Out Now poll, Farage said, "This new London polling is strong for Reform, and it's before we've even got going. Even in our least advanced region, we are ahead of a dying Conservative Party." The buzz is intoxicating, but Reform faces formidable challenges as it attempts to become a party of government, explains elections guru John Curtis. The most crucial point to understand is that who wins in terms of votes and who gains in terms of seats is not necessarily the same thing, he tells the media. This has been a sore point for Reform since the last general election. Thanks to the quirks of Britain's first past-the-post electoral system, Reform won only 5 MPs, despite coming second to Labour in 98 constituencies, as the party's vote share was spread thinly across many constituencies as opposed to being concentrated. What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comments section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you, take care, goodbye.